Yeah, it was really kind of, but I had a lot of fun doing it, I guess.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I
You know, I'm too tall for I'm tall and lanky, and I was always too big for the tricycles when I had enough leg strength to do a tricycle. And big wheels, I mean, oh man, once you kind of fuck them up, any kind of bit on the tire, it's fucking trash. It ain't
right.
worth shit
Yeah,
anymore.
you get
Yeah.
that flat spot on the tire.
Yeah.
It's like clunk, 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 clunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just don't want to take the motherfucker down the hill or not. But you had to fucking lock the wheels up in order to stop.
Right.
So
And then, I
yeah,
mean, and if you're gonna do that, you might as well slide.
you have to slide when you stop. That is the only way to properly. Or the
Right.
green machines, remember them?
Oh, the green machine. Yes, my neighbor across the street had a green machine, and I mean the thing was like the Batmobile of big wheels on crack, and I was like, oh my god, I have to get a green machine. My dad was like, no. You've gone through like 3 big wheels in a year. You're not getting a green machine.
The green machines were cool because you had the handles like this.
Yeah. Well, they were absolutely ridiculous. Like next to impossible to try to drive the thing straight. But whatever.
Oh, I mean, you're not really going to have that much of a straight stretch anyway. You're going down a
And
sidewalk.
compared to a big wheel, it was like as long as a Pinto station wagon. It was just
Yeah,
huge. Yeah.
had that oh
The
shit
green
brake
machine.
on the back tire.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
It locked one tire up. Good luck.
Well, and the funny thing was that in my teens, I was really big into skateboarding, and
Oh,
I mean, I was on half pipes and jumping off ramps and all sorts of shit. And so I go to my doctor for my knee issue because I injured my knee a couple of years ago at Amazon, and I go to my doctor and they do an X-ray and an MRI and they do a ultrasound, and she's like, "Oh, your knees look fantastic," and she's showing me pictures. Like, well, shit, yeah, my knees look great. I mean, like that's like the only part of me that looks great. The rest of me looks like I've been through a war.
well,
So I
at
mean,
least something works.
at least there's a positive. The bone structure of my knees is fantastic.
I got my I got my magic user pretty much made up. I just got to fill in some fields. That the core of the character's there. I got my spells.
So yeah, I was gonna say, and we didn't get into this because nobody was playing a magic user, but I'm house ruling that everybody in that game, um, magic users and illusionists and necromancers, all get read magic as a cantrip, level 0 cantrip, cast at will.
Right.
Because I here's another rule that I don't remember from the days of yore when I played it when it came out, but I don't remember that being a thing. Or maybe every DM I played with just house ruled it the same way, but it just seems a little ridiculous that at first level you only get one spell. So what's your spell? Well, I guess it's going to be read magic, or else I can't learn any new spells.
Yeah, I
That just
feel you.
seems dumb to me. So yeah, I'm just gonna say that everybody gets that, and just house
Yeah,
handwavium it away.
I think I got magic missile and floating disc, shield, and I got something else. I was able to get 4 of them. I rolled really good, but I rolled in the roll 20. So all you got to do is look. Anybody, I don't give a
Nice,
fuck.
nice.
Yeah. So it's not like I had a bunch of 17s and 18s, but my lowest stats 10. I mean, that's really good.
That's fantastic.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, it happens, man. I mean, there's a lot there's a lot of people playing games and are like, oh my god, did you really roll these numbers? Like, dude, it happens.
Yeah.
There was a couple of times where when I was playing at the shop that I rolled up pre-gen characters, and shit you not, man. Like there was one guy who had like 3 18s
Nice.
for the stats. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Of course, I had to make him like. I think I made him like a barbarian or a fighter or something like
Yeah,
because you kind of you're obligated at that point. Like these are
well,
too good.
that's why I took Dwarvish as a multi-class because one, he makes an excellent face character with his high charisma, and two, uh, he had that Dexy Dex and the party needed a thief,
Right.
so
Yeah.
multi-class.
Yeah. No, that's a great character. The Bard Thief. That's an old I mean, you just look at those two classes and they kind of go together. That's an old joining.
I almost made my guy one of those Jackokins.
Oh yeah, the Jacklikins are kind of cool.
Yeah, with the magic light and everything.
Yeah.
But I think for
Pumpkin
all
people.
intents, yeah,
They
yeah,
so I saw that and I am going to just automatically say that those Jackokin from Oktoberfest um are Fey Realm creatures, and the Fey Realm in Braunhaven is like cross pollinated into the prime material plane
right.
and whatnot.
Right. I went with a human. I'm thinking he will, because he's a magic user, probably no one else is going to make a magic user because really at low levels they suck.
Yeah.
And, and he's going to spend his money to buy a lantern.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, and he will stand
That's a good
way
idea.
he will stand way in the back and hold the light source. And,
Well,
the lantern
I
will,
want to say so, and I haven't checked this, but so I guess a torch will burn for 1 hour,
right.
but I think a lantern on a tank of oil will burn for 4.
That's right, and I can spend my money and load up on a bunch of oil because I don't need to buy armor, and staves and daggers are really fucking cheap. And
Well, if
and
your
that's
second character is a magic user, you can always throw light spell too.
yeah, but
That's a good one. And
the
oh,
shield.
old school was a lot more forgiving about this whole idea of, well, what do I have to concentrate on? It's like,
Yeah,
did you cast it? Then fuck it. There it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Like,
And most of the spells aren't rolled a hit or nothing. They're like, oh, you hit that motherfucker right there.
right. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
very.
you did.
Yeah, I like that guy. But I did learn some stuff when we played on Saturday that. So I used their initiative rules as written, and I've decided I don't like it.
And you went away from the Thaco system in combat.
No, we still use Thaco, but the initiative system of one, you have to declare everything that the characters are going to do before you roll initiative. Then you roll initiative every round, and I was rolling party initiative, which party initiative I can kind of see if you have a really large group, but I think I'm just going to forego all of it and do it the way we've always played, where it's individual initiative.
Are you going to
And
make it 20s or still 6s?
it's going to be 6s, but you'll get your dexterity modifier. Everybody will get that they'll have their own initiative, and monsters, of course, will all go on their own initiative. Each type of monster will go on their own initiative, just like we've always done. And then, because I thought back to it, and I'm like, we never, all the way back to 1979, we never played the way that the rules are written. I double checked. The rules are right. It's not that they're full of shit. The rules are right, but we never ever played that way. We always did individual initiative. We always did, we basically played the way we play now. You only roll initiative once for an encounter, and everybody does whatever they do, and that's that. And I could see saying, oh well, everybody has to declare what they're going to do, because the reason for that is that let's say that you have a magic user and they declare that they're going to cast a spell that round. If they get attacked, then their spell is interrupted. But that could happen also if you do individual initiative.
Sure.
because there's a let's face it, magic users probably aren't going to have the highest dexterity. I mean, sometimes they will, but usually average they're not. And so the monster has a pretty good chance of going first. And so I mean, it can happen anyways. So I just don't see any reason to. I like the way we were doing it. Is basically what I'm saying. So that's how we're gonna do it from now on. And I went through all the maps and I already altered it and I put your guys' individual tokens down and we're just gonna do it that way. So.
Uh,
So I think Kevin was saying that his computer ate shit, and
yeah.
so he is in the process of trying to get his laptop up and running. He didn't think that he, I mean, I don't know how old his old laptop is, but it sounded like he had a quadrillion Windows updates to do. So I don't know that he was going to make it tonight. So it might just be you guys. Is Keith out for us, Cameron?
Yeah, he's doing his scout leadership meeting
Yes.
thing, but he may come back for second half. We'll see. I
Okay.
have his sheet and can roll for him.
So he's off Boy Scouting. Everybody welcome Glenn. Glenn plays in our Friday night game and has decided he needed more Traveler in his life, so he is going to be joining us for the Pirates of Drinax. And we will... This is actually a very good place to weave Glenn in. It's funny because Glenn has gotten weaved into both campaigns. So we will pick Glenn up. But before we get started, let me bring us in. Welcome to the Pirates of Drinax. We'll be picking up where we left off last week. The party has arrived at Colony 6, and they are going to learn why Colony 6 may or may not be a good place for their cadre of refugees. They have left the Bad Betty back on what was the name of that planet? That one planet.
Starts with an H.
Yes, Hitiakia. And they have taken Shenanigans. And the reason for doing that was that they know that there is a price on their head and that they are being looked for by numerous parties. And so they took the leadership, 10 of the people, well, the core leadership, and 10 of their people from that were out of Lowbirds and loaded them onto their Empress Morava, heavily modified Empress Morava that has a conscious intelligence aboard, and have headed to Colony 6 because that ship is not being hunted. But before we get started, we would like to thank one of the friends of the Greenwater Guildhall. All of these are just friends of the Greenwater Guildhall. They're not sponsorships or partnerships of any kind. And tonight we would like to thank Dogmight Games. Dogmight Games makes beautiful wooden tabletop accessories for your TTRPGs, such as wooden DM screens, dice vaults, dice trays, dice towers. They have this really cool thing called the Player Vault. I highly recommend for anybody who's a player. Yeah, they have really cool stuff, and all of it is customizable. If you order something that's customized, it will usually take 6 to 8 weeks for you to get it. If you order something from their in-stock inventory, because they always keep a bunch of stuff ready to go, that will usually ship in 1 to 2 business days. If you have not ordered from them before, even if you have, we do have a code that is good for 10% off everything on their site. Just put whatever you're going to order into your cart, and at checkout, use the code FRIEND in all capital letters, and that will net you 10% off of your purchase. If you are a fan of the Traveler Pirates of Drinax campaign, we do have a website via Obsidian Portal. The link is in the description down below. And the adventure log is written in the manner of news service articles posted by Traveler News Service. It basically deals with information all over the Trojan Reach, sometimes from the outside. There's going to be some interesting information coming in from the outside because you guys are approaching 1107 here pretty quick, and some very very troubling information is going to start taking place. And the funny thing about that is that it's going to tie in with some of the stuff that you've dealt with kind of off the cuff in the past. So it'll be interesting, and more more details of that information is projected to be available from Mongoose Publishing towards October, November of this year. So yeah, there's some big shit coming down the line, guys. But if you like that page, please go to the front page and give us a thumbs up. We do like to see the fan likes, and we hope you enjoy. We have our new Saturday game, which has really taken off. I'm glad to see that there are so many viewers for the Braunhaven campaign on Saturdays. We do have the Braunhaven campaign setting available for purchase. Just go to DriveThruRPG and search for Braunhaven, and it should pop up for you. There's a number of adventures available for the campaign setting as well, and I'm in the late stages of finishing a short one-off adventure called The Orc Who Would Be Queen, and that adventure will be available here within the next week or so. And so, yeah, I'm just finishing it up, and it should be ready to rock and roll here fairly soon. All right, so you guys, well, I suppose I should show Glenn. Actually, so for Glenn's sake, this is the stats for Shenanigans. This is like I said, a heavily modified Empress Morava class Far Trader that they are currently using. This is kind of their secondary ship. They picked this up. It was actually a payment for a job that they did. And they picked this up, and it, lo and behold, had a conscious intelligence aboard. This AI identifies as a she and basically acts as its own crew member. It is capable of flying the ship on its own. It's not absolutely fantastic at it, but it is something that can be done. You probably don't want to ask it to do, any evasive maneuvers or things of that nature. But beyond that, she's not bad at moving the ship around when needed. And we have, of course, the deck plans for Shenanigans.
This thing's pretty impressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is. Well, she was owned by a noble named Dame Coraline Petrovsky, and she traded it to these guys in favor of them taking her to a lost planet that didn't show up on any of the maps, but was indeed there. Because it was her family's birthright. That was her ancestors' monarchy, and they did find the planet. They found a whole bunch of other stuff, including a ship known as the Rasputin. It is a Rasputin class escort destroyer, and destroyer escort, whatever. And she kept the destroyer escort because, that there was really nothing left of the planet, to be honest. But so you can't really bother her too much. And it's like she said, she did already pay you guys with this Empress Morava that has a personality of all its own.
She ended up getting politicized into working for the.
Yes, she was given a seat at the court of Drinax. And you guys haven't really been back to Drinax recently to see how that's turned out. You've been kind of busy. But they have actually verbal agreements with a number of planets potentially bringing them into the new kingdom of Drinax. And right now, what they are doing is they have agreed to. Well, they're wanted. Like, they are prime enemy number one of the Third Imperium, because they, I don't know if you want to say mistakes were made, but they they some of their pirates that they had hired were captured, and they were being held in a detention facility on Marduk. These guys said they can't really allow that to happen, because if they do, then that makes them look weak. And so they went in and assaulted this facility. Some Imperial Marines were killed, and on the way out, they seriously damaged an Imperial patrol corvette before escaping. And so they are, really bad as far as the Imperium is concerned. And in order to let things die down, they purchased false identities, and they took up a job on Asus to assist in transporting these refugees. The Glorious Empire has come in the Herate has come in and liberated a number of worlds from the Glorious Empire over the last 30 years. And the Glorious Empire, if they're known for anything, they are known for the backbone of their empire being built on slaves. And so all of these worlds have large populations of human slaves that the Aslan Herate doesn't know what to do with. And one camp, their solution is to just exterminate them. And as bad as that sounds, what these guys have learned is that it's not. It's terrible, but it's not the cruel act that a lot of people would make it sound out to be. Because the fact of the matter is that even if the Glorious Empire was crushed tomorrow entirely, they are adamant in the fact that their legacy would live on in their slaves. And so some of the clans of the Herates thought on this is that, well, it doesn't matter, because if we just kill the slaves, then your legacy is dead too. And basically, a lot of these clans have the feeling of, basically, fuck the Glorious Empire. We don't want anything to do with them. We want to erase them from the history books. And so there's that. But there is this Aslan Lord on Hittiakia that hired these guys to move these refugees. He's considered a patriot of the human condition, I guess. He doesn't want to exterminate the slaves, and he hired these guys and gave them a ship and told them that they can repatriate these refugees he's freed all the slaves and repatriate them to anywhere within 6 parsecs of Hittiakia. And so they went to Trioki and discovered that wasn't going to work out after a bunch of people were killed off in a nerve gas attack. And
oh my God.
yeah, that was pretty. And it wasn't just nerve gas; it was genetically targeted nerve gas, so it affected only the humans. Aslan, the cattle, the Awua cattle, all of that were not affected at all. It was only humans. And there was a rogue Aslan Lord that decided to gas these guys, and several were put down. And so they decided that, after that, the Herate decided to basically embargo Trioki, and all ships in close orbit that were not a part of the Aslan clans ruling Trioki were ordered to leave, and so these guys left. And they then learned that they were being there is a let me pull up this map so you can see what I'm talking about. So this, of course, is Trioki. They came from Hittiakia. There is the planet Hrahrau that is controlled by the Triumvirate. There are 3 clans that rule that. They're on Hrahrau. They're just exterminating people, and the Triumvirate is a big. This is called the Holai chain, and that Triumvirate is really a big, strong voice in this. And so they learned that the Triumvirate had hired or had sent out ships specifically to destroy theirs because the Triumvirate doesn't want any of the slaves to live because that would carry on the legacy of the Empire. So these guys went back to Hittiakia. They put their ship in mothballs and plugged it in for power so that they've got like 280 slaves. They've got a bunch of refugees stuck in Lowbird. So they got a whole bunch of these guys on ice. And they basically put it into mothballs on Hittiakia. They took 10 of the refugees, and they have now jumped to Colony 6. Now, they're already aware Colony 6 may not be a fantastic place. And as they have come out of jump at Colony 6, and the reason Colony 6 isn't a fantastic place is that it is under constant threat from the Glorious Empire. And Colony 6 has a very limited naval force, very few jump-capable ships. They do have a lot. They've got some monitors and other boats, but very few jump-capable ships. But as they were coming into Colony 6, they did see that the Colony 6 is like a magnet for mercenary forces. And there are merc ships all around Colony 6, and one of the ships that they identified is a mercenary cruiser for Aradnus Star Security Services. And just to show you guys what this is a merc cruiser. They are spherical in size. They are 800 tons, and they are bristling with weapons. They've got 8 triple turrets on them. Usually they carry at least 2 modular cutters that are designed for deploying troops and armor. And so one of these is what Aradnus Star is flying, and it's probably not something that you want to get into a fight with. But there are a number of these floating around the system. There is also a number of on here. There is also a number of these floating around, and these are Aslan mercenary cruisers. They run in the 1,000-ton range. And I actually do have a picture of this as well that I can throw up. But yeah, these are, 6 triple turrets full of pulse lasers, 3 triple turrets full of missile racks, and 1 triple turret of sandcasters. These are beefy, and they look like this. They look like a big fish, kind of.
It's a sunfish.
Yes. Yeah, the Aslan, I'm going to say it right now, the Aslan are not known for making pretty ships. At least, not that I've seen. I mean, I look at them like, wow, that's, oof.
Do any of the ships that we, can see or anything, do any of them match up with any of these clans that we know are wanting to kill our refugees?
Make a electronic sensors plus intellect check.
Can I coordinate with our shenanigans, who's had several weeks of...
You certainly can. You'll get a +2 to that roll.
All right. $11.
Okay. So, yes, there are some triumvirate ships in the area. They are trade ships, though. They are within the 200 to 600 ton range. They're not bristling with weapons like you would expect. But there are a number of other ships in the region. And Shenanigans immediately alerts Ting to the fact that there are 3 1,000-ton, basically armed cruisers. They're warships. Kind of the... It's hard to really classify Aslan ships because they are very specific. These are basically what would be known as pocket warships. There's an entire class that the Aslan had. They're not really good at anything in particular, but they operate as a destroyer / aircraft carrier / warship. And they're not really good at any particular one. But there's at least 3 of them, and they are in the gas giant of Colony 6 refueling. They're from the Glorious Empire. And they're proudly broadcasting their IFF. Now, from the radio chatter that you're getting, you're hearing a number of the ships in the region basically relaying this information, and they're all saying the same thing, that there's Glorious Empire ships over there, so, don't approach the large gas giant number 5 right now, because you don't really want to get into a fight with them. And Colony 6 has sent 2 of their system defense boats in that direction. But the feeling that you get from these communications is that this is not abnormal. These ships are probably heading further into the Dust Belt. And a lot of times, because aside from slavery, the next biggest export of the Glorious Empire is mercenaries. And so these 3 ships may be heading off to some conflict, God knows where. Shit, Drinax may have hired them. Who knows?
And Colony 6 is the only world that's habitable?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Looking at... No, there is another one. There is so Colony 6 does have is a binary star system. Oddly enough, there is a habitable planet, or hospitable planet, that is... Wow, that hospitable, that seems odd. It's 2.56 AU from its primary, and the primary is an M4V. That seems unlikely. But anyways, yeah, there is a hospitable planet in the secondary, on the secondary star. This diagram that is spit out by Traveler Map isn't fantastic because it doesn't tell me what the distance between these 2 primary stars is. Usually it would be a pretty big distance to fly between these 2 stars. So, I mean, you could jump there, obviously, but it's...
Well, which would be the shortest of the 2? Would a jump be faster than just going over there?
Oh yeah, because I mean, this star would have to be, at bare minimum, would have to be beyond the Kuiper belt of what this primary star would be. So you're talking 1.5 light years at least.
Right. And it's beyond anything we can really get a good scan on to tell what the fuck.
Right.
We can't even tell if there's ships over there.
Probably not at this distance, no.
Well, I'll report that to the captain and go, well, if this looks fucked up and you don't want to hang out with the Glorious Empire...
No, it does tell us this. So it says secondary star system is 12 AU out. So yeah, I was right. It's about 1.5 light year. 12 AU. It's a long ways. It's a long ways. It'll be quite the walk.
Right.
Yeah, no kidding. Can we scan Colony 6 yet?
No, we've just shown up, and that's all we've done. But I mean, just weighing the options on what the fuck is going on.
So where we left off last week, the captain was, I believe the captain made her rolls to dock on Colony 6, if I remember the land.
So yeah, we have reporters we have to hook up with.
Yeah, the reporters are supposed to meet you here, and so I don't know, Ting, as the captain made her dice rolls for her landing. So as you're coming in, the first thing that you realize is that so Colony 6 is a water world. It's got some polar ice caps in the north and south. But aside from that, it is a water world. All these things that you see are islands, are actually man-made. They are floating rafts that these little islands that float across, and they have farms and small cities that are on them. The starport itself is actually on the southern polar cap here. But the other thing that you notice as you're coming in is that there are a number of cities floating in the clouds. And there are a number of cities that are actually on grav repulsors. And so there are there are 3 castes that run, that live on Colony 6. The first is the Wave Riders. The Wave Riders live on these man-made islands that float out in the ocean. They're primarily seafaring and, fish-based sustenance level. Then there is the Wind Riders. The Wind Riders live in these floating cities that float through the clouds over the planet. And then the last of the last cast is the Space Riders. And the Space Riders are belters that go out and get the raw resources needed for Colony 6 to operate. And so they basically mine the asteroid fields and whatnot of the system and bring them back to Colony 6. Colony 6 itself, they do have jump technology, and in fact they have a tech level of 13. But the problem that they have is that while they do have shipyards, they have a difficult time creating jump-capable ships because they don't have lanthanum, which is required for creating the jump drive.
There's shenanigans in her massive database and through her espionage techniques. Does she happen to know where any lanthanum might be in the general vicinity of where we are?
It's funny that you should say that.
Well, thank you.
Make an electronics communications plus intellect check with a +2.
All right. Big money, no whammies. 14.
So, as you ask Shenanigans that, she comes back and she says exactly that. She says, it's funny that you should ask that, Tang. There is actually an incoming communication requesting people to hire people to do exactly that. She says, I'm connecting you with Vindali Procuban. And
wow.
he is a merchant procurer of materials for Colony 6's starport. And so this guy comes on and he says, yes, hello. I was contacted by your ship's I guess steward, saying that you might have information or be capable of providing us with lanthanum.
Well, we're definitely the type of people that like to entertain what people want and needs, and it's our understanding that that is what you need to become a relevant spacefaring society.
Yes. Well, I would have to say, so we Sixers, we we have an issue where we do get calls for jump-capable vessels, but as you know, Colony 6 in our system is low on lanthanum as far as raw materials go. We were wanting to hire a ship and crew to go to Sif and negotiate a purchase of lanthanum from the Florian traders there to bring back to Colony 6 so that we could manufacture a number of ships for the system of Gortel. The Church of Nam is wanting to upgrade their aging Sandalian fleet. We would be willing to pay handsomely to a crew that be willing to go broker that deal for us.
Well, we have some requests of our own, according to, even with your payment, is we have several hundred refugees that need to be reacclimated to human life. They've remnants of the glorious empire, and we would like them to have a home. We of course can arrange to bring them here, and you guys can train them and use them, in a way where they can work and earn their way and become beneficiary to you. And let's say 250, just a small number of people to help. That would really aid us in our trade negotiations we're trying to develop here in the region.
Excellent. That would actually suit my needs as well. We're always looking for labor to be working in the space stocks.
Oh, well, then perhaps I'd like to arrange for you to have a sit down with my fearless captain and leader, Queen. Insert her name.
She's a queen now.
Yeah, Queen B.
Queen B. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So, and he says yes. I would like to definitely meet with your captain and the rest of your crew. And he gives you an address at the starport to meet at. Dun dun dun.
Of course.
I was gonna say Astra Burger, but probably not.
Generics.
What do you think, Your Highness?
Planet Fall Bar and Grill.
Planet Fall Bar. I've got a contact all of a sudden with the local authority, the spacefaring folk, but he says they need some good labor to pay. It'd be a nice life for our refugees, but I don't know. It could be bullshit. We don't have to go talk to the guy, but I've got a meeting spot.
I think we should talk to him and have him show us the docks and make sure that they're not horrible.
Right.
Everything's above board, and the refugees are cool with it. Then it seems like a good solution.
This class of the space system seems to be the guys that have the friends in the big weapons, badass ships out there.
Yeah, that would be a big help getting them in too.
Yeah, see, if they let us land, I don't think anybody else can say fuck. If that's the agreement. So that's what I'm gaming. I think we can go that route, but I mean, I'm just communications officer and foreign relations waiter.
Anyway, anywhere we can get them off the ship. This has been a long time.
Yeah.
These refugees are
the crew of Shenanigans this has been a long trip, man. Can we just get rid of these people?
Fuck these people.
Do they have any vote in what they do?
Well,
a bit, a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, they've tried to, they've tried to give these people what they want, and they've kind of gotten shot down and screwed over in every opportunity. So now at this point, the captain seems to be more like she's just doing what sounds right rather than what they want.
Well, we did make an agreement that they
Some
would
of them
shut
are
the
gonna
fuck up.
get.
Yeah, but they would shut the fuck
They're
up
gonna get killed.
and
Is
do what
the
they're told.
deal.
Yeah.
If you don't find a spot for them, then
So
they're gonna kill more refugees. So
I am going to say that Glenn's character is probably one of your spare pirates that has been a part of the background crew this entire time. Glenn, why don't you go ahead and describe your character and let's introduce us to who you're playing.
Okay. My name is my personal data file says my name is Gregor, which is Scottish,
Okay.
and
Solomani descent.
yes. I fortunately got selected to go to the closest regional military academy to my home world. And apparently, when I got there, I figured out I was one of the token poor people that got selected to go to the academy, so they can say that everybody has a chance. Unfortunately, that meant that I was not allowed to go for promotion after 4 years. So I left. And I found an opportunity to move to a planet that had some nice high middle class and lower lords available, and I became a thief.
As you do. I get it.
I'm kind of pissed at the Imperium because they made me a token, and they wouldn't let me get promoted. And my time in the infantry, they sent me to a client's planet, and my platoon, since I'm a lieutenant, got all the special missions because we were the token people. Like a little special ops that we aren't really trained for.
You were disposable.
Yes. And it was, it didn't leave a very good taste in my mouth. And after 8 years of being a thief and making a fair amount of money, I decided that it was time to head back to my home planet. And I did that by working as a temp crew on any merchant that was heading the way I was needed to go, and they needed a crew. I could work as an engineer on power, or I could do security work. I already brought my own assault rifle. I could pilot small boats if they needed anything to go from ground to orbit, and I could lead the work crews, load and unload the ship.
So typical traveler stuff.
Typical traveler stuff. I have a reasonable collection of armor and weapons, and have a really nice dexterity.
So Gregor probably was lifted off of one of the many ships that the crew has pirated, and this crew has a time-honored pirate tradition of, after everything's all said and done, these guys do like to offer the crew the opportunity to join their little band of pirates. And so, and that has some benefits because it's worked out well for them. They've actually gained a number of ships because of that.
Well, that's good.
Right. And so this is probably how you came on, and you would be one of these crew members that had given the option, and they've been very careful to not be murderous of the crews. I think there's only one time where where they were turned down and they were actually fought to a stalemate. And but they still came out ahead in that situation too. And there that whole thing will come back to them in the future too. But they've been very careful to not murder any of the crew, and so they have, as far as gentlemen pirates go, they have a good reputation. Of course, any pirate's a bad pirate as far as the Imperium is concerned, and the Imperium is the one that mostly patrols the Dust Belt up and down the Trojan Reach, heading from the Florian League all the way to the Imperium, and of course the Spice Belt, which goes from the Imperium to rimward to the Herate.
How
And
far
so,
is the Sith planet?
I'm sorry, what?
How far is the Sith planet?
So
from Colony
Sif, you had talked about last week that maybe Colony 6 would just be a stopover for you.
Yeah.
So Colony 6 is here.
Oh,
And
yeah, I
then
see it.
Sif
Oh.
is over here. And Sif, you
Yeah.
learned, has a very unique benefit. Sif is a garden world, and it is it has become known as basically a diplomatic world. So technically, it is corporate owned by Star Merchant Services, Stellar Merchant Services, by a merchant service, and this corporation essentially, I mean, they own it in name only, and the people have taken over, and the planet has become a location where all of these different entities, from the Florian League, the various polities of the Dust Belt, the Imperium, the Glorious Empire, the Herate, they all show up here to basically have their diplomatic meetings. Sif also has a very extensive shipyard and is capable of producing very high-level ships. And so it is a...
So it's very feasible that we could be actually purchasing this mineral up there with just some really good brokering and computer checks or something of the sort, or we actually have a contact.
Well, well, yes, there is that as well. So that goes in the plus column. The other plus is that Sif, nobody wants to attack Sif because being a diplomatic world, that's going to make them even more hated than you guys are. I mean, the Imperium will really get pissed off if somebody attacks Sif, and certainly the Glorious Empire is not going to do it. They don't need both the Herate and the Imperium breathing down their neck. They got enough problems as it is. So Sif is a fairly safe world. Colony 6, on the other hand, is not. Colony 6 has very few jump-capable ships. The Glorious Empire already uses their gas giants to refuel for jumping through on their mercenary missions off into the Dust Belt, up here to the forward. And if the Glorious Empire wanted to, they could just come in. If they really wanted to put the screws to it, they could really come in and just steamroll Colony 6. I mean, there's not really a whole lot to stop them, other than the fact that they're fighting wars on multiple fronts as it is.
Well, that's 2 dings for Sif, Captain. 2 dings. There's the big diplomatic table where we can represent Drinax there.
Here's
and then
the
there's
con.
this.
The con is that you have to get from Colony 6 to Sif, which means generally you're going to have to cross Glorious Empire space, which can be touchy. Although you are right now, you are in shenanigans. So, I mean, you're at least not in a ship that is glaringly wanted. But at the same time, sooner or later, you're going to have to cross this space in the Bad Betty, and the Glorious
Oh,
Empire would love nothing more than a chance to retake their slaves.
well, I mean, if we could just, we've got it set up now where if we make these people happy, we can drop everybody off at Colony 6. In theory, if this meeting checks out, right?
Yeah, if they want to. I can leave it.
Yeah.
I'll leave it up to, I mean, yeah, the refugees can decide
Yeah.
if they want which place they want to risk it, because nothing's a sure thing for like their lifetimes. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
they
Yeah.
change and they want to invade Sith later. So
You kind of have to feel bad for these people because every step they take is like wondering whether the next footfall is going to be on a landmine.
Well, you know, I can assure them that when we space them due to fucking lack of homes, that there will be no landmines.
There are no there might be space mines, but there won't be any landmines.
No landmines in space.
yeah, it's just cold and quiet and dark.
Yeah, peaceful, tranquil.
Tranquil,
really.
even, yes. It's relaxing. You think about it. So
There's a job guaranteed here. That to me makes me think they might want to take it. It's up to them what they want to do.
So Beth brings the ship down over the ocean and lands at this spaceport that is on the edge of this polar ice cap, southern polar ice cap. It is quite chilly outside. You're going to want to wear your puffy parkas with the furry hoods. And but aside from that, Colony 6 is a fairly decent world. It's got a breathable atmosphere. It would be considered dense, of course, because of all the water. But aside from that, aside from it being cold where you're currently at, it's not too bad. And you hear rumors that the islands that are floating out towards the equator, it actually is quite pleasant. Of course, there's nothing to see in sight except for water, but aside from that, it's great. What is your guys' plan as you land? Now, one thing to that's not a big deal, I don't think.
So
let me.
So our refugees are like somewhat feral. They might not want the refugees. The refugees might not want them. Let's just set them up with each other and see what happens.
do what now? They're feral, so
just sort of. So the people who want dock workers might be like, you know what? Never mind.
It's like we're taking a litter of kittens and just letting them go next to the dumpster at Hardee's and seeing how it goes.
So as you are coming in, so this island the starport is actually an island that's currently floating in the polar ice cap. You are warned ahead of time, Beth, that to keep your maneuver drives operating the entire time, because the weight of your ship landing on the spaceport could cause it to tip, and so basically they want your maneuver drives operating the entire time to offset that. So you're not so much landing so much as you are hovering with your landing gear down.
Okie doke.
And Shenanigans tells you that she has no problem maintaining. It's like, this is easy. I can maintain maneuver drives. Make sure that they plug us in for refueling, and she'll take care of the rest of it. But for refueling, yeah, that's not bad. So refueling, Shenanigans will run you to. Let me double check something. I'm going to say 2,000 credits.
That's not bad at all.
No.
I'll mark it off.
Well, I mean, they just have a hose, like, dumped into the ocean. Like, just sucking it up, whatever, man. And so, yeah, it'll cost you guys 2,000 credits to refuel. And as you are departing from the ship, you can see that the spaceport is actually quite active with other craft coming and going. Most of the activity that you see are small craft. The sub 100 ton range. They are shuttles and whatnot that are ferrying people back and forth between the spaceport and ships in orbit. A lot of modular cutters. You can see that there is a heavy military type presence, but they're not they're not planet bound. These are mercenary forces that are coming and going. Colony 6 is just a meeting place for all of these people. The first thing that you see looking around is that this is not exactly a safe place. This is not some place that you would want to build a homestead.
All right.
What's the law level?
Law level is 1. So you guys can walk around carrying anything you want. The only thing that you can't wear is battle dress.
Fair enough. Okay, are the refugees like too ignorant to put 2 and 2 together about the military presence? Should I warn them like this is what it means?
So
that we see it everywhere.
Lonka and what was his name?
Jeff.
Jeff. Lonka and Jeff. No, his name was Ilum. Lonka and Ilum, if you remember correctly, they got rid of the other guy who was a spy. Lonka and Ilum, they step off and they look around, and they are not clueless. I mean, they were slaves of the Glorious Empire, and one of the favorite things that like I said, the Glorious Empire was known for selling out their services as mercenaries. And one of the first things that the Glorious Empire does is they use their slaves as shock troops. So they'll put like explosive collars on their neck and tell them to run to the front line. And if they disobey orders, they just blow them up. So these guys look around there, and Lonka's like, oh. And they immediately, she turns like 3 shades of white. And she's like,
okay.
There's a heavy military presence here.
But doesn't that mean if there is some fighting, then there's something here to fight back with?
Well, she's the first to point out is that she says, well, I guess it really depends on which side the mercenaries are fighting on, and who's paying their billet.
Yeah, that's true. All right, maybe we can find that out from the people that we're going to talk to. And there's no pressure, I say to her, hiding my annoyance expertly.
I think the captain's tired of being a taxi cab driver.
Absolutely. But I'm not going to force them to live here, so if they hate it, then yeah.
I'm sure going to try to talk them into it, though.
Is there any way to find out who most of the mercenaries were hired by?
Well, they're all coming and going. Some of them have been hired by clans by the Herate in order to fight wars against the Glorious Empire. Some of them are hired by Colony 6 for defensive operations. Some of them are here just waiting for shit to hit the fan. Because some of them are guessing that sooner or later, and they're betting on the sooner, is that the Glorious Empire is going to come in and just steamroll Colony 6, and Colony 6 is going to be willing to pay them money, and they're willing to take that money until, the war is going to be lost, and then they'll just skip.
Are any of our people interested in becoming mercenaries?
You're refugees?
Yeah, I mean, this seems like the temp agency center.
It
type of
is.
thing.
Colony Six.
Series.
Colony Six is an excellent temp agency. That's exactly what it is. Um,
They
they're
could fuck off the planet then, real easy. Maybe back to the one they actually want to go to someday.
they're not really that interested in becoming mercenaries. The way she just, as you guys are walking through the concourse towards the customs desk, she basically tells you that she says our people were um, forced to fight in many wars. Given
So
minimal
they
training and minimal equipment, we're not really in a
Not
hurry
too
to
hard.
rejoin that life.
It's not
Okay.
really the exciting life here. If you think about it, this is an opportunity for your people to get in a situation where they can learn valuable skills. That seems to be your biggest weakness in finding a place to exist. Is you have a lack of skills amongst your people. Here, you have people that are willing to hire you and pay you, and you get a chance to learn new life skills that will make it for you to be able to put yourself in a situation to go back to that homeland you think is claimed to you. But until you establish yourselves in some kind of way, you're not really going to have much say in your destiny.
So this is the refugees' second in charge, Ilum and Trotty, and he says he turns to Tang and he says, "It is my experience that mercenaries and soldiers are skilled at being killed in combat, and little else. At least
Well, I mean,
that's our experience."
right? Yeah, but
I guess we could ask these guys.
But
They're probably pretty good.
They were
But
offered
if they're,
jobs at the dock.
Right.
is it
They were offered
isn't
jobs at
this?
the dockyard.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So working at the dock won't be so bad. I was just thinking if they want a way to get off of here to go to the other world when it's easier. This planet also is closer to it, isn't it? If I remember right.
it's relatively
It's
close to that world.
well, it's closer.
Compared
I
to
mean,
Sif, because to get to that world from Sif, they're gonna have to go through that crazy dead zone that's filled with glorious empire jerks. So I'm trying to give them the pros and the cons, not trying to lean on them either way, and I'll respect the decision that they make. So,
right.
the guys that need dock workers are also welcome to try and woo the refugees. Maybe they can make charisma checks or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I sure would like to encourage them to try to find employment here in the docking thing, and while we collect their friends and bring them here, they can establish a place here on this planet for them to exist. It's either that or we try the other little planet here in the system and see if you just insist on being primitive, perhaps there's nobody fucking around on that planet.
So this is Lenka. She is the Lenka and Keese. She is the leader of the Hittiakia refugees, and of course Ilum is her right hand man, and she she agrees with Ting. Let's see what Vendali Procuban has to say, and as far as their offer of options for us to work in their spaceport manufacturing ships. She says our people are capable of learning anything.
Awesome.
One of
That seems
so
that
for
seems like it might tie it together if we can do this SIF shopping thing for trade. That maybe they'll provide a decent living and stuff for all our refugees. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? It seems like if we get the refugees to go on board and then we go to SIF and play our games there, I think everything will work out great for everybody.
So for Glenn's purposes, the humans that they found on Trioki, there are 8 billion freed human slaves on Trioki. And what they discovered is that the people of Trioki were actually genetically modified by the Aslan of the Glorious Empire. And those people, I wouldn't say that they are dumb in any way, but they are extremely limited in their ability to learn. Like there's some kind of limiting factor that stops
Huh.
them from basically learning or being more than they are. And so the problem with that is that the Glorious Empire was attempting to turn them into a labor caste, similar in a similar fashion to the Fescal of the Florian League, and they failed, and they ended up with these fairly muscular humans that aren't. They're just really not that good at almost anything. They're good at labor, and that's it. And so when the Aslan Herate took over Trioki, they tried to come up with a caste system, and these guys didn't take to it. And the one thing that they did take to was awua farming, and awua are a type of cattle that Aslan raised. And the 8 billion humans of Trioki took to it so much that, I mean, the methane levels of the planet rose dramatically because of all the awua that they're breeding and raising as livestock. So the entire planet
So
is...
they have greenhouse gas like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, the entire planet is basically nothing but a big cattle ranch, and but that's all these guys are good for. These slaves are not like that. These slaves are, some of them, well, most of them have grown up in the in the Glorious Empire. They were born and raised there. There are some of them, a small percentage, that were actually taken as slaves. But the thing that these guys really noticed in their long journey that got them to this point, that you would have noticed as well, is that these guys, or these slaves or refugees, they act more like Aslan than they do humans. They worship their ancestors. They follow the religious and spiritual practices of the Aslan by going to the ship shrine and meditating. In fact, on the journey on Shenanigans, they would probably have been a little disconcerted by the fact that Shenanigans doesn't have a shrine. It's not an Aslan ship. And so that's a little weird for them. If there's an argument between two of the refugees, they get into a knife fight, and the argument is settled by whoever draws first blood. And after that, the entire matter is dropped. They act Aslan. They don't act like normal humans. And so there was a bit of a culture shock between the crew and these refugees, because they are so vastly they acted more like... They do have a crewmate who is an Aslan named Rexar, and Rexar told them, no, just leave them be. They're acting the way that I would expect them to act if they were Aslan. So there was a little bit of a divide between the crew and these refugees, because they don't act like any humans that they've ever met.
So I don't know if this planet will want them either, because that's a little...
It may be better for them to be on this planet than a diplomatic world. They have less chance of making a bad impact.
Well, the other thing that you have to keep in mind is that Colony 6, and this was brought up before, is that Colony 6, being right on the military border with the Glorious Empire, if Colony 6 is taken over, these people basically just went from being freed slaves back to being slaves. Because that's what will happen to everybody on Colony 6.
So do they want to go double or nothing on Sif, or... I want to read the room about how this is going.
We could at least have the meeting.
Yeah, we
Sith,
have the
Are
meeting.
yeah. Sith,
Okay.
I mean, we've got to. We'll have to take off and head that way if we go Sith. But I mean, at least having the meeting and see what they talk about couldn't hurt anything. I mean, if we're going to Sith, we should at least try to make it pay off so we can benefit from bucking around here, because we might need this place to refuel to head out to Sith, at the very least.
So you guys get to customs. Customs essentially just waves you through. I mean, their questionnaire with law level 1 is kind of like, I mean, I would assume you guys are at least packing pistols. I don't know what kind of armor and weapons are you guys walking around with on a law level 1?
I'm wearing my cloth and my cloth jacket with my assault rifle and assault pistol.
Okay.
Brass knuckles and garrote.
So you're ready to rock and roll. Gotcha.
Well, I mean, some of the mercenaries might recognize us or something. We need to be fairly ready. I'll go with combat armor, Gauss pistol. Yeah.
Okay.
That should be
good. I'm going with combat armor and grenades.
No handgun, just grenades.
That's right, and my glove.
Okay.
Are we going to have another incident where somebody runs around throwing grenades?
With these guys, you never know. There is always a possibility. So, yeah, they basically wave you through. They're like, oh, well, you know, the guy kind of looks over Captain Beth's shoulder and he goes, that's Empress Morava. You know, those are known for having their little hidey holes. You're not smuggling anything, are you? And then he kind of laughs and goes, I'm just fucking with you. It doesn't matter. You can bring in whatever you want. Yeah, no. And he stamps your paperwork and sends you through. And
sweet.
So you guys make your way to the Planetfall Bar and Grill. And Planetfall is known that it is said by most spacers that every starport in known space has a planetfall. You know that that's not necessarily true, but it is Planetfall is essentially like the Hard Rock Cafe, and if you've been in one, you've been in all of them. I mean, it's the same kind of thing. Crappy drinks, unless you go to the one in Las Vegas. They're not too bad. But watered down drinks, cheap beer, and women of questionable repute all over the place. Well, men of questionable repute are all over the place. Ox would feel right at home here. And so they do have inexpensive rooms available. There's a relaxed atmosphere that caters to starfarers. There's loud music playing, and you show up and tell them, you know, that you're here. Your party's here to meet Vendali Procuban, and you are. The waitress says, "Oh, well, he's already here ahead of you," and she leads you to this booth, and there's a large dance floor going on, loud music, and there's hanging on the walls. The decor is various spacer memorabilia, like a flag from the so Colony 6 was actually, as the name might imply, was the 6th Ark ship that was sent from Terra before the Soleimani actually had jump drive. And so there is a flag in a frame hanging on the wall, proclaiming that this is an official flag from Ark 6 that actually caused Colony 6 to become a location. The other Ark ships are estimated that they may actually be deep into Jodani space at this point. Nobody really knows what happened to them, but Arc 6 had a drive malfunction and actually crash landed on Colony 6 in the ocean. And that's how we got this planet as we know it today. And so Vendali is sitting there and he says, "Oh, yes, please, come in. Sit down. He says, so the situation is that we kind of serve as a go-between for the theocracy of Goatrell, and foreigners are not generally permitted to land on Goatrell. Traders from Colony 6, or Sixers as we prefer to be called, and a select few other worlds in the region bring them goods from interstellar ports. The Church of Nam is concerned that the Glorious Empire may attempt to reacquire their world. We're concerned about that here too. And they would like to update their aging ships. They have ships from the old Sindalian Empire that they fly around. And while the Sixers, we have a Class A starport, and we can manufacture starships and parts up to TL-13, we don't have the industrial capacity to create everything that Goratellians are going to need. And so what I would be hiring you to do would be to go to the SIF system and reach out to Florian traders there and see if you can acquire crystal iron lathe spare parts and jump drive coils, suitably something sized for capital ships. We're talking about a high amount of goods. We're looking at 100 to 150 tons. Would you have vessels capable of transporting this size of goods?
Let me check my sheets. Shit. I don't remember what the Bad Betty. No, wait, that's full of people.
Yeah, that's full of people.
Okay. Let me see here. You said 150?
Yeah, 150 total.
Okay. Carrier can take that, but can this one? I don't remember.
You wouldn't be able to carry that in shenanigans, but you have enough ships capable that with multiple runs you could transport up to 150 tons with multiple ships.
Okay, cool. I can tell them that. And then, so if we're... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to talk about this in front of necessarily Dude, but if I could send an internal text message to the captain or whatever, perhaps, our knowledge of Sindalian ships, especially with our engineer Keith, might be something that we could sell or negotiate with these guys. I mean, if we could talk them out of a ship in a major deal, we could space these fucking refugees. Fuck them, and we can. Really.
Hey, I'm just gonna ram them.
Hello,
we're
Devin.
going to SIF anyway, and they like it. Yes, Keith's here.
Hello.
So, yeah.
So
we're just trying to negotiate stuff with the Sixers on Colony 6.
So Vendali wants to know. He's like, we would be willing to pay up to 250,000 credits in parts from our shipyard. Did you have something, a different kind of payment in mind? What do you require in order to hire you to do this?
What about an escort destroyer from the Sindalian fleet?
Whoever, you can make a persuasion plus intellect check.
Okay, let me look up what the fuck Ting has. But I am a persuasion guy. Plus intellect, you say?
Yes.
All right. Well, This will be 2. All right. It is what it is, Captain. Sorry.
It's
gonna
okay.
be.
Start the negotiations high, and then
Oh, yeah, fucky. I felt it. I felt it in my gut. The roll was gonna suck.
He
it's
says,
all right.
"Well, he says, I've heard rumors that Drinax got their hands on a Rasputin class destroyer escort, but I don't think Gortel has anything of that range or capability. I don't think that anything like that would be possible. But if you are looking for a ship,
We love ships.
If nothing else, you can sell them for money.
I mean, no. I mean, we have this. I mean, we know that. I mean, we're wanted, and they're sending fleets and shit around. We
Yeah.
need to bulk our shit up, man. I mean, that's everywhere we turn around in every fucking port that we fucking negotiate with. They're talking about, oh, we need you to watch our shit. Fucking pansies.
he says, well, he says, in lieu of the 250,000 credits worth of ship parts, we could negotiate to trade the parts that you get from Sif for a Sindalian era Rorix command vessel.
Mm.
Hey, it's got the word vessel in it.
So
It does have the word vessel command.
and I don't think I have.
It has no weapons. It just has this big holographic finger that points.
So I don't have the stats put up into. You guys haven't heard of this ship before. I mean, you haven't seen a whole lot of Sindalian ships, but this thing is. He describes it as 600 tons. It has thrust 5. It is a jump 2. It's got early jump. It is energy efficient, and it has stealth jump. It has 2 Type 3 docking clamps on. It's basically designed very similar, but larger than the Harrier. And
well, that sounds cool.
the wings, the tips of the wings, end in Type 3 docking clamps to dock Harrier class vessels to it.
Oh, well, that sounds like an amazing deal.
And it has 2 dual turrets that are pulse lasers and a 4 missile barbettes.
Oh my.
And it has a detachable bridge, holographic controls. He says, now it's not in perfect condition, but it is serviceable.
We have access to several tons of Sindalian spares. I'm sure we could make something work. But
serviceable. So, can you define that a little bit more?
Well, it could use some renovations, but it is the jump drive works, and it does, like I said, it does do thrust 5. In fact, its maneuver drive has × 3 size reduction. It is quite quick for a vessel of its size. As you may know, that the Sindalians favored smaller, faster ships over large capital ships. But for instance, like some of its holographic controls on the bridge are in need of repair. It has 1 luxury stateroom, which is generally reserved for the captain, that is in a sad, sorry shape. But it does have 3 high staterooms and 13 standard staterooms. The standard staterooms are in fairly good shape. It's hard to really mess up rooms that have double bunks. But the high staterooms are going to need some renovation. It basically needs a coat of paint and some carpeting and some electronics work. But beyond that, He tells you that it comes with advanced sensors, military countermeasure suite, enhanced signal processing, and 2 sensor stations.
Or does it have a auto bar?
Well, you can always install that.
That really does sound like a handy ship. I mean,
Guys,
considering the Anubis or the Capri Sun is like kill on sight, and we really miss that TL-16 fucking cool shit.
Yeah, this is TL-15. It does have
Okay.
it does have a breaching tube, armored bulkheads. The captain's suite, in and of itself, has its own armored bulkheads. Evidently, has 3 additional airlocks, fuel scoops. The fuel processor is capable of doing 60 tons per day. It has a forced linkage apparatus. So, you know, he kind of says under his breath, if you like to do pirating. It has a armory, a briefing room, a medical bay, good for 10 patients. It has an unrep system that will do 40 tons per hour. It has its own workshop, a barracks for 12 Marines, and a brig that'll hold 12 prisoners.
I bet it's got its own personalized cock rings to give out to the crew when they fucking get on there, man. That sounds awesome.
Explosive cock rings.
Well, you know, you can't have mutiny.
And as far as the crew goes, it is, for a ship of its capability, it's fairly modest. Requires a captain, 2 pilots, astrogator, 3 engineers, medic, steward, 6 gunners, and 12 Marines is standard crew.
well, I'm ready to shake hands.
Yeah, I think
Great.
so too. Yeah, and will they be able to, you know, if we can establish a long-term thing going on between you and SIF to keep your, you know, supplies going on and your refurbishing, you know, are you willing to also, you know, probably find a home for our refugees, either on a floating raft island or...
Completely. He loves the idea. He says, so how many refugees are you talking about?
I think it's around 250, right?
We don't know how many we can actually take before they all get slaughtered. It's kind of like because there's too many of them that they're dealing with trying to shuttle them over. So it's like as many as we can get here out of. Fuck, I don't remember how many. It's too many though.
We can just say thousands.
It was. You've got 280 in cold storage right now. It was like a couple thousand. You were gonna have to make multiple trips, but he tells you, he says that wouldn't be a problem. We can train them. We can put them to work in the starport and in the stardock, working on manufacturing.
Yeah,
they would have jobs if they came here.
They would need to have their own separate housing so they could do their cultural thing.
Oh, he didn't have a problem with that. And he says that, I mean, the fact that they speak Troc isn't. They have a large Troc-speaking population here on Colony 6. I mean, Colony 6 at one time was a part of the Glorious Empire as well. He's like, nope, that's not a problem. They would fit right in. We would be happy to have them. I could put them to work tomorrow, and we would be happy to put them up into housing.
What's our little
name?
girls? Our leader of the refugees. What is she saying? Does she want to like hang out here for an extended period of time and set up for her people to come find jobs and education and oh man, I'm sure there's some kind of healthcare.
They could try working here while we fuck off to SIF, and then if they hate it, then we can tell them what SIF is like, you know, in case it's a nightmare or something. Because it could be worse than here. We don't really know.
So
that's right.
Both Lenka and Ilum seem really quiet, but when you look at them, they're looking out at the starport or at the Planetfall bar, and kind of mulling over the conversation, they both look nervous. They look like a deer in the headlights.
Okay. Are they worried about all the mercenaries and military stuff?
Yep.
Is that the deal?
Yeah.
Or is it all the water? Okay. All right. So they're not comfortable working on Sif. That doesn't mean everybody.
Well, they're not
who's a
comfortable
refugee
working
is
on
gonna
Colony 6. They haven't seen Sif
Or
yet.
sorry, yeah, you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So they want to go to Sif too. So we're gonna have them help us with this job before they agree to be dock workers. That's
Okay.
what we're gonna say. So I'll
Okay.
buy some time.
Give me just a second. I'll be right back.
So they're not even going to check it out. Is that what I'm picking up?
There's too many mercenaries. They're freaked out, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. All right.
I know. If they're too choosy, then we can't really do anything about that. I'm betting
Yeah.
that they'll. Sif is the end of the line. Like they can. It's
They
there.
don't like Sif. We can bring them back here.
Yeah, exactly, right? So this is like this sit, pick one. So I don't blame them for wanting to check out both of them.
All right. So I guess then we need to go ahead and figure out a path to Sith to see about. Because I mean, God, a ship that's an upgrade of the fucking Anubis or Capri Sun. I mean,
yeah, that you can dock Anubis to it.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
I did the math on it. You could dock two, of the Harrier class, one on each wing, and it would drop your jump score to jump 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's still beautiful.
So you could make a jump 1 and undock these 2 Harriers and really ruin somebody's day. It's pretty sweet. So Colony 6, yep, you're right here. You need to plot your course to get to Sif. Now, of course, you have jump 2 capability.
And we got a bladder already.
And you picked up a bladder. So you can make 2 jump 2s.
Right, so we can go here and then there.
You could. So yeah, that works out really well for you, doesn't it? Okay. Who wants to make...
Did this guy give us credentials on how much money or whatever they want to spend on this shit, or are we responsible for covering that?
He would want you to negotiate the best deal that you can. But he gives you, essentially, it is a promise of credit from Colony 6 that is basically a blank check.
Ooh.
Okay. I like those.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't be able to write it for yourself, but it is basically a promissory note for whoever you cut the deal with on Sif that they can basically, whatever you agree to. And I mean, he stipulates, please, get the best deal that you possibly can. But it is a promissory note.
Right on. Well, yeah, I think I can do good on that. I mean, that's shit my character's kind of built for. So, yeah.
So, are you guys doing anything else on Colony 6, or are you going to just finish your refueling and leave?
I think anything else I want.
I would like to see about purchasing a pocket nuke.
Well, there is an Instel Arms here, but no, you're not going to be able to purchase a pocket nuke.
Okay.
Even on Colony 6. So, That's one of the things with Law Level 1 is that would be classified as a WMD, and that is right out. But Instel Arms has a number of weapons and armor and equipment designed for your mercenary needs.
That leads me to a question.
Yeah.
Cloth armor is the best I've got. Should I buy something better?
Well, these guys are usually, I mean, when they're not wearing battle dress, they're walking around in combat armor. So, and
That's a little out of my price range.
Yeah, cloth is kind of their, their dress uniform.
How much does combat armor run? How much does combat armor run?
Look, there's a boarding. Do you have the vac suit skill? What's your vac suit skill?
Mine's 0. I have a combat environment suit for boarding.
Because, I mean, if you're stepping up and doing more stuff for the crew, we want you to survive, so I don't mind throwing down some money for combat armor. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we can find an advanced combat armor. It's TL14, but that would be 19 protection. I mean,
wow.
Yeah, and it's got some rads, in case we go nuke. You just need vac suit 0 to do it. That's on page 33 of the
new.
How much does that
cost? It's listed at 160,000 credits.
Okay.
Yeah, it's protection 19.
Yeah, I mean, if he can use that, I mean, we can maybe do a street rise or some kind of check to see if we can, get the little higher.
I would say you could get improved combat armor, which is plus 17 protection. It's TL12, rad 145, weighs 16 kilograms, and it only runs 88,000 credits, and it only requires vac suit 0.
Can I try to broker him a deal?
With Instel Arms, no.
Okay.
You basically just walked into the gun shop version of the Nike company store.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
I will.
They want $150 for a pair of tennis shoes.
Right.
Okay, I have subtracted funds for the improved combat armor, so Glenn will have a better chance of surviving while we do dangerous shit all over the.
Okay.
Thank you.
All over the place.
They have a ship fund that's not
pretty hefty.
It's not wealthy. It's comfortable.
All right.
If he kills people when the things go crazy, then I'm fine.
Then it's money spent, right?
That's great. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we make good money, especially if we
take my assault rifle with me from the army.
Oh,
you might be able to trade that in.
But this is my favorite assault rifle.
Oh, well, okay. Is it an advanced combat rifle?
No, it's just an assault rifle.
Oh shit.
Okay, we definitely have one of those laying around.
Yeah, they probably have a Gauss rifle laying around.
Yeah, we've killed so many guys that were shooting.
Yeah, we definitely have a Gauss rifle.
Yeah,
in our,
there's probably 5 of them sitting in the ship's locker.
Well, good. I can take one
and
out
Gauss
and do what I
pistols.
need.
There's plenty of Gauss pistols too.
Yeah.
Let's see, which armor are we talking about?
It would be improved combat armor. It is on page 33. Wait, is this the right one? No, that's not right.
No.
Getting you into something like this, man.
Page 33 of the Central Supply Catalog Update 2023.
Okay, improved combat armor?
Correct. So protection 17, TL12, 145 rad.
on my character sheet.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then, of course, you can take a Gauss rifle and a Gauss pistol. I know they've got more than a couple of those sitting around.
Yeah, we
I think you guys got like
weapons
4
and
Sandalian officers' pistols laying around too, that are the Lamat revolvers.
probably.
I think only 2 of you took them, and then you have like a case of them sitting there.
Well, I don't have any pew pew skills, so I don't need any of that shit. It doesn't do me any
Well,
good.
the nice thing about the Sandalian officer's pistol, you don't necessarily need pew pew skills because it is a Lamat. And so under the barrel, it's got so I don't know if you know what a Lamat revolver is, but it had a
It's got a shotgun on it.
It's got a shotgun shell underneath the barrel, except in this case, it's not. It's a frag grenade that has like a 5-meter range it's called the mutiny round, and you just pop that, and it's a frag grenade at 5-meter range. Yeah, Sandalians didn't fuck around, did they? You're gonna do what I say, or I'm gonna blow you up.
Yeah. It's a little dangerous to use at close range, though.
Yeah. You better be sure there's a mutiny going on. Everybody's gonna get it. I got a tube filled with black powder and penny nails. Look out.
But yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything else I want to purchase. Then if I can't get nukes, then what the fuck?
Yeah, if I can't get nukes at 7-Eleven, then fuck you guys.
Yeah, you guys are really not my kind of people. Yeah.
Did Keith astrogate, or does shenanigans?
So first thing, Captain Beth needs to make a piloting plus dex check to lift off.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm hit. I'm pretty good.
So Beth lifts off. As you guys are taking off, Beth and Keith are looking out at this water world, and Keith is a little bit homesick because this reminds you of Chachilatihuidaque a lot, where you guys met, and where Keith is from. And Keith, you can start doing astrogation checks. Do your astrogation check and then your power check.
Did any of our refugees that we have on hand want to stay behind and try their hand at space station life?
They really don't.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, I got a 13.
Well, you really want to get rid of them, don't you?
Oh, yeah. They're just, we like pirating and blowing up shit. And this good guy stuff, we've been heroes for a while.
I'm gonna set up at least half a session where you guys get to pirate something, just for you guys having been so good with your diplomacy and your role play. You guys are gonna get at least half a session where you get to shoot stuff. So Keith drills in his astrogation check, and you can go ahead and make a jump drive check. Jump drive plus intellect.
All right. I forget. That is 14.
Okay. So you guys are in jump for 2 weeks. Well, you're in jump for 1 week. Then you come out into a empty hex, and after about 4 hours, Keith is able to replot the course. During this time in the empty hex, this is always a nervous time because you're in deep black. There's nothing around, and so the refugees that are on the ship are a little sketchy and nervous about this, but it doesn't take more than 4 hours. Keith gets the drive realigned, gets the astrogation filled out, and since Keith actually has to do both of it, it takes you more like 8 hours. But you guys are back in jump, and so 2 weeks later, you come out at Sif. Now, Sif, like I said, Sif is a garden world. You look at the sensors, and it is showing up as like this perfect planet, like very Earth-like. It is. It would normally be considered a gem, but it is way off the beaten path. I mean, it is sitting out here in the middle of nowhere. Not to mention the fact that it is at the edge of the glorious empire. But it's just there's nothing out here other than the Florian League. Tanar is here to the Rimward. But aside from that, it's not a part of a chain. It just kind of is there. Are you just making your way straight for Sif or the main world, or are you going to do wilderness refueling? It does have a gas giant.
Shit. Don't I have what happens if I fuck up that roll? I don't that's never happened to Ching Shi, so I don't know.
Well, it could potentially cause a bad day, cause some damage to your ship. It is a wilderness refueling is a difficult 10 plus.
And does shenanigans add anything to that check?
That's a really good
Because
question.
if not, I think I'd rather just land to not risk it.
Let me see. Jump control, library, maneuver. No, it doesn't. It does have maneuver 0, but it doesn't. I mean, no.
All right, yeah. I don't want to risk scuffing her up, so let's land and I'll pay for some fuel.
Okay. So you guys, it takes you probably about 48 hours to make it from the jump point to Sif, and you are radioed by Sif Control, requesting information. This is Sif Landing Control. What is your current destination and reason for being in the Sif system?
Oh, well, Seth, this is the Shenanigans, and we are requesting permission to land. We would like to try to broker some trade deals and enjoy the wonderful diplomacy of your fine world. We would also like to visit your prostitution rings, strip clubs, maybe disco parties.
Uh, the response is, I'm sure that we have entertainment facilities suitable to you shenanigans. I don't know about all of that, but you are cleared to land. Docking Bay 32.
I assure you that our ship's doctor has told us that none of us have any STDs.
I always say, I appreciate your honesty when my kids say something completely brutal. That's what I would say if I were them. Thank you.
I appreciate your honesty and I accept your truth. So Beth, go ahead and make a piloting plus dex check.
Seven.
Okay, so the landing's a little rough, but she brings it in. It's not so bad that you suffer damage, but there are moments where you fear for your life as Beth brings shenanigans in for a landing. But she sets it down in Docking Bay 32, and you are in a fairly fantastic starport. And let me double check something. Stop it. That's what I get for using a different browser.
Yeah. I wonder if Sif would think selling nukes is good. Good, wholesome munitions.
So no, because Sif has a tech level of 7 is their average, and their law level is 7. But they do have a Class A starport.
Are they gonna think we're fucking wizards?
No, they're not that. They're not that bad. So
Okay.
Sif, they do have, like I said, it's a Class A starport. Starlink Merchant Factors was the beneficiary corporation, so they had a dictatorship, and the people of the government, or the people, overthrew the dictatorship, and they went looking for outside sources to kind of sponsor them, I guess. And Starlink Merchant Factors was more than happy to come in and set up shop. And like I said, Starlink Merchant Factors still runs the planet and the starport in name only. And the people of the government or the people of the planet have kind of taken over as a democracy style representative government, and it has become the diplomatic center of the entire region. I wouldn't say the entire Trojan Reach, but there are a lot of different people here, and as you land, you see that there are a number of ships of classes that you don't recognize. There are ship designs here that you have not seen before, and Shenanigans informs you that those ships are actually Florian ships, and those ships are rated at tech level 16 or higher.
See.
So the Florian League has a very strange benefit to it. So the first thing is that the Florian League is an offshoot of humanity that, just like everybody else, they were transplanted by the ancients. But the weird thing about the Florians is, so they were split into 2 castes. There is the Bernai, who are short, thinly built humans with big heads. They run the government. They're thinkers. And then there are the Fescals, and the Fescals are big hulking humans that are used as a labor caste. They're not big on the thinking end of the spectrum. But that isn't the only thing that sets the Florians apart. The Florian homeworld actually has a functioning ancient site. And so all of the ancient technology that usually is only found in relics and whatnot across the galaxy from 300,000 years ago, on the Florian homeworld, it's still up and working. And so the Florians have access to technologies that are simply not available anywhere else. And so their ships can a lot of times have tech that nobody's ever seen before. Nobody has been successful at invading the Florian League. The Aslan tried and failed. The Sindalian Empire tried and got its ass beat. And the Imperium, rather than try to invade, tried to set up a trade agreement with the Florians. And at first they were ignored. And then later the Florians came to the Imperium and said, "No, okay, we'll do some trade." And so now there is an open trade agreement between the Florian League and the Imperium. But aside from that, they're very, very weird, and they have access to technology that is almost seems magical to other people. Like cloning technology that's obscene.
These are the exact folks we need to broker a deal with, right?
Yes.
Correct. Yeah, so you sit down in this starport, and this, as far as the starport goes, the starport looks like any other corporate Class A starport, aside from some of the ships that are docked there. And you guys are able to sit down and broker a deal with the Florian traders. So what is it that you guys are asking for? Because they told you they wanted crystal iron lathe spare parts and jump drive coils for capital ships.
That's right.
So what is your opening trade statement for them?
Well, what is the what would be the base price on I mean, just on the up and up, if these were things were really available, what would be a decent average price according to
For jump drive coils, you're looking probably for capital ships. I would guess probably 1 million credits per ship.
And we wanted how many?
He didn't give you a number. He said he needed jump drive coils for capital ships, being plural. He didn't say how many.
Okay, well then I will say, I'm wanting to get jump drive coils for some capital ships. I'm thinking 5, so 5 mil.
So
Okay.
let me ask a question.
Sure.
How much? What's the tonnage on these things, and can we fit them in?
So he's wanting between 100 and 150 tons worth of parts. The other part is crystal iron lathe spares. So you want spares and jump drive coils up to 150 tons.
And the spares are probably double the price of normal ones, I bet, because they're crystalline and high tech. Is that correct?
No, they would be normal spare parts.
And is that still 100,000?
My question is, what's the tonnage of one of these drives?
So the jump drive coils, you're probably looking at they're 1 ton each.
Okay, so we can put a few in this thing.
Yeah, you could load up. So you've got what, 36 ton, or is it 36? It is. This is your cargo space. 40 tons.
We don't have any cargo space if we want to get home.
Oh, that's right, because you've got 40 tons is taken up with your jump bladder. That's right.
Yeah.
So you've got 3 tons of concealed smuggling compartments, and that's it.
Yeah, but we have some actual capital and money, and I mean, to make this deal go down in order to get the ship. Could
we hire somebody to take it back?
Yeah, we.
Yeah, that's your best bet, is to hire a freighter.
Yeah, hire a freighter and deliver it. I mean, man, we're talking a really nice ship.
Absolutely.
So you're looking for spares and jump drive coils for 5 capital ships. Ting, is Ting going to be your negotiator here?
Yeah, I don't think we would have left without knowing exactly how many ships we were trying to.
Well, all he said was 100 and 150 ton of goods. That's all he said.
All right. Well, I will coordinate before I do this. Then I would have coordinated with Keith on what he believes that tonnage would be for the number of ships.
So
if he could do the math on capital size ships and all that, he's the engineer.
So we'll say jump drive coils are 1. Sailing 50. So you're looking at 75 tons worth of jump coils and 75 tons worth of spares. And spares are what, 100,000 a ton?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got a blank check, but we got to do our best to broker.
Well, it's a bulk buy.
So the spares you're looking at 7.5 mil or 7.5 mega credits.
All right. Well, then I will.
And
You know,
you're
I
looking
will.
at 7.5, or I'm sorry, hold on.
So 82.5.
And 75 million for jump drive coils.
Yeah, so we're talking 82.5 mega credits here is our base price for what we're looking for.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's then. Yeah, I'll try to broker it down. And see what kind of discount
And
or
then
anything.
if you were to hire a freighter to carry 150 tons worth of goods, you're probably looking at another, probably another 1.5 mega credits.
Man, that's still a chump change when you think about buying a ship. And
True.
and that's all we are required for are these this 1.5 mega credits for the freighter. I mean, we're just tossing that on for. I mean, we're going to eat that cost, but we'll get a ship if it all works out. That's the gamble.
So
But,
yeah, make a persuasion plus. Your choice. You can use charm.
I have broker. Can I use it?
Yes, you can.
All right, I have broker 2, and my charm would give me +3 on the whole thing here. So here we go. This is big money, no whammies for the big ship. A 9.
Okay, so with a 9, he will give it to you at that cost.
Then I will definitely sign their check over. I will fill in the amount on their check and smile and hand it over and ask for request that it get sent over to the Shenanigans docking bay in order for us to hire a freighter and return it to Colony 6.
Okay.
Yeah, right. That seemed really easy with someone else's money.
So, do you have the 1.5 mega credits to purchase a freighter, or are you just going? I mean,
I can subtract from some of my personal money to make like the ship fund into 1.5. I think that you should be able to try and broker with the freighters too, though, because that's like a separate group of people, and see if you can down at all.
I will try to get that price down, as well as saying that we will escort them there with the Shenanigans, and that provides protection and makes for a safer trip.
Sure.
And I'll travel in the freighter as our representative, our liaison.
Yeah, that's 8
with my armor and weapons.
So with an 8, you're able to broker exactly 1.5 mega credits for the trip.
Okay, this hurts, but I'll
now that 1.5 mega credits, that also includes fuel costs and all of that. So I mean, that's actually you don't have to pay any additional fees. And this isn't Southwest Airlines.
Okay.
And your luggage will show up and it won't be fucked up when it gets there.
Wow, that's amazing.
I know, right?
I have a reminder for the captain. What about the refugees we have with us? What do they think of SIF?
Yeah, I wonder if they're happy with it. It's probably gorgeous, so they gotta.
Yeah, the refugees, the entire time that you've been brokering this deal at the Florian Trade League office, the Lenka and Ilum have been out kind of walking around the concourse, looking out the windows. They are very enamored with Sif. It is a beautiful world. Looking out the windows of the starport, you see that there is just open landscape. They could walk in almost any direction and pick land and set up shop.
So the question is, can we get them here? Is it okay for them to
There's
immigrate?
Yeah. Do they have rules? Are they like, no, we're full?
Sif would be happy to take them. They've got plenty of work available. Again, Sif has their own shipyards. The Florians that are here, they have plenty of work that their Fescal. They would have to import a lot more Fescals, and so for the most part, they use local labor. The humans that are here, there's the population of Sif is only a couple 100,000 people, and
We
so
have
with all the diplomatic envoys that come to SIF, they would have plenty of work putting them into, again, shipyards and things of that nature.
Cool. Well, heck, let's do that then.
Yep. So we'll give them their survival gear and all that, and kind of set them up their little spot. And I will have the remote, radio thing, the remote drone. I will film all this. Maybe ask the captain to give a speech.
Give them the boot.
Yeah,
Our cargo hold's not closed, but you can't stay here.
I rolled leadership for them, I think.
Yeah?
With the speech. Yeah. Did pretty good. Got like 12. So I gave like a pretty decent speech on.
Okay, so in the cargo hold, you've got the doors open, and Captain Beth gives a rousing speech to the 10 refugees that are there, and tells them to basically go forth and set up their settlement and, be happy.
Be happy and make many more.
Yeah, make many more, and the Bad Betty will be shuttling people between Hitiakia and Sif over the next series of months. And
can we farm that out
to an additional crew? Yeah.
I mean,
I wondered if the freight that's going to Colony 6 is willing to do that.
That's right. We could hire some people when we stop over there because they got tons of mercenaries.
Somebody's gonna have to go out and go get them out of cold storage.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's true. That is a possibility as well.
And is there any leftover cargo space in the freighter?
No, 150 tons is going to take up quite a bit of space, unless it's a mega freighter, and I doubt Sif has access to mega freighters. So what I will say is you guys did really well on this, and each of you, including Glenn, you guys all get 2 XP points to spend however you would like.
Excellent. Maybe I can be less shitty at piloting. That would be
yeah.
Yeah.
Darn it. Wish Ching Shi would come back so she could fly the ship, but if you can get better at it, you're doing pretty good so far.
Man, okay, I already had 2. I thought I had 1, so I've been adding the wrong thing the whole time. Oh well, nobody died. No one has anything to complain about.
So if I have something new, is it a 0?
So for a point, 1 XP point, it would get you 0. For 2, it would get you 1.
I'm going to go for Turret Gunner for 2.
There you go.
I think I'm going to raise my Investigate from 1 to 2.
There you go. So next session, we'll be doing a bit of a time jump by a couple of months as you guys are finishing up your transfer of the refugees, and the news of this hits the Trojan Reach, and we will be starting a new leg of the adventure, and that will probably be jumping into what is it?
We're going to go kill tigers.
Kind of, yeah. It will be going into Shadows of Sindal.
And while we're talking about Shadows of Sindal and all that, I mean, I believe we have a ship to discuss.
Yes, and I will
Yes.
you will be taking ownership of the Rorik's command vessel, which I don't know, you might actually decide to use on that particular mission.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
a true boat.
Would my
Which is to
five
say,
ship shares, would my 5 ship shares help in repairing that thing?
Yeah, you can go ahead and transfer your 5 ship shares. That's 10,000 per share. You can transfer that to your credits.
Well, I'll wait till then to see what's going on.
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, that ship. I mean, God, we broke our pirate. Now we really do need to rob some people.
Oh yeah, you'll have some opportunity. And
Right.
yeah, like I said, I will set you guys up with a chance to do some pirating and get back to doing what you do best. You know, murdering folks. And
To wrap up everything, can I make a big story in that reporter lady's voice and mail it to her since we never really found them?
you could do that, yeah.
Yeah, I will definitely make her a story for her with her own voice,
I'm sure she'll
narrating.
appreciate that.
Yeah, and I'll send it so it'd be like she was there the whole time, and I'll make sure I talk up everybody, and make it sound like we were just extremely humane and patient and
Well, you guys
I'll,
were for the most part. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys, yeah, you
We
guys,
did pretty good stuff.
yeah, you guys really restrained yourselves. I was impressed.
yeah. But hopefully somewhere in there, at least our alternate IDs can get some society bumps.
That's right. Oh, yes, I will say this. Also, your alternate IDs can raise their SOCH by 1.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'm now getting a bonus on my false ID social and my real one. My real one is notorious, though.
Right, yes.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
So I will see you guys next Wednesday at 7 o'clock, and we will get to do some pirating.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. And
You're
we
welcome.
appreciate the new ship.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will get those stats over to you ASAP, and you guys can enjoy your new ship next week. You guys will have to think up a name for it.
Oh,
Well.
yeah.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.